Hey, Mallory, I've learned what a pre-roll is. What the heck is a Patreon?
Well, a Patreon is a way for audiences to support artists and makers whose content that they love with a monthly contribution to an account on patreon.com. And for more information, you can go to sohere.com/Patreon. That's Patreon. And you'll be redirected to our Patreon page where we outline possible contributions you could make and rewards. And that's another way that you can support sohere.com. Now on to the podcast.
Welcome to Sewing Out Loud, the official podcast of Zede Sewing Studio. Here are your hosts, Zede and Mallory.
Sewing Out Loud. Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Mallory Donahue.
And I'm Zede Donahue.
And last week we talked about leggings hacks part 1. And this week we're talking about leggings hacks part 2.
That's correct.
We know what order these podcasts are coming out in, Mom. This is crazy. This is
wild, isn't it?
We don't need
wild.
This is not normal.
This is week 2 of leggings.
Yes.
So we did waist.
Well, let's just explain real quick.
Right.
I'll just put this in here and then you can get started.
Do the made to measure thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have our made to measure leggings class. We are supporting people's efforts to complete the Made to Measure Leggings course in our Self-Sewn Wardrobe Facebook group. So I think right now we're sort of maybe into some of the hacks. People hopefully have gotten their perfect leggings pattern drafted. And now we're into these hacks. So if you have not purchased the leggings class, you're interested in doing so, you can go to sohere.com/leggings and you can get the class. You draft your pair, you can look at materials, you can do all that jazz, and then you can get into these modifications. And then if you haven't listened to last week's episode, it might be kind of nice to do so because we sort of explain the other hacks, the ones that we have hopefully covered or are covering right now, and then our rationale behind having them. So anyway, we'll just continue on with our laundry list of hacks. What's up? What's
well,
first
in case
this time?
you accidentally listened to this first,
Uh-huh.
we covered the waist hacks and the crotch hacks.
Yes.
Okay.
Good,
In leggings 1.
Yes, we
And this
did.
would be leggings 2 or
Leggings hacks part 2. Like
dos.
Part the 2nd.
Yes.
Okay.
Chapter 2.
So color blocking.
Yeah.
Color blocking, I think, is maybe
A mystery to some people.
or one of the most like requested or
Yeah, or I want to make these that look like this. They'll get a picture.
exciting.
Right.
Yeah. Things.
I'll tell you what's best about color blocking is when you have those big hunks of scraps left over.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I could almost make these, but, I saw a really weird hack, I have to say, the other day. And this girl had on these floral.
Uh-huh.
It was beautiful floral, and I don't know if this was done on purpose or not, but it was very tropical looking, sort of floral. And then there was just this big hunk of tiger, like
Bam.
on the back of one. And I was like, I don't know why I like it. I just like it, but it was like the tiger was peeking out of the jungle.
I have been seeing like some ready-to-wear leggings advertised to me on Facebook.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Of course.
Yes.
But
Tons.
they are like a monochromatic color palette.
Uh-huh.
And they look really cool. It's like a yellow and like a yellow gray and then like a dark gray or
Yeah.
like a teal and stuff. And
So it's rather subtle.
yes, and it
Yeah.
was really good inspiration. Because sometimes I think of color blocking on leggings in sort of this, what the trend has been, very bright colors.
Yeah.
Sort of like athletic.
Mm-hmm. I think we're getting away from the neons. I think the neons was sort of 2016,
Well,
17,
or
and we're
even,
moving
like,
away from them or something.
The contrast, because like
Oh, yeah.
some of these
Well, that
were,
too, but
were neon, but it wasn't like neon and black.
Right.
It was like bright pink neon and dark pink
Right.
neon, and I was like, oh, this is giving an interesting visual
Right.
experience here. I really liked it. So I think that there are sort of 2 ways of color blocking that we're going to discuss.
Well, I guess the one thing that I want to say that we will discuss about color blocking too is what feature do you wind up enhancing if you do a certain color blocking?
And this,
Because I have seen people wear the wrong thing.
well, okay.
You know what? In my opinion, it's like she would look so much better if that was flipped.
Okay,
or
well, I
something.
was going to try and say it a little more
Yeah,
politically correct.
yeah, say it more politically correct.
Whatever.
Well, wrong in my. If I had made them for, I would have flipped it.
Sure.
Yeah, or something.
That wasn't exactly what I was going to talk about, but we're going to talk about dark and light colors and da-da-da-da-da and all that jazz. But you get to decide, what parts of your body you sort of want to enhance,
Right.
of course, and things like that. But what we're going to talk about is color blocking by creating your own fabric,
Right.
or color blocking by redoing your pattern pieces.
Right. There's two ways.
So,
I have a preference, but there's two ways.
well, but sometimes certain ways aren't right for
And
certain
sometimes
shapes.
it doesn't work, or sometimes you don't have the amount of fabric you would like, and so you'll have to do it a different way or whatever.
Okay, so the color blocking that I have seen be really popular is sort of where on your butt. Okay, picture the back of
Yeah.
somebody's body, and you see their butt, and it kind of looks like an upside down U, like there's an
Yes.
arc of color
There's
there.
also a heart that's been made.
Oh, well, that's
Where-
a good
yeah.
idea. Okay, so when you think about that, and you think about your leggings pattern, so even if you haven't done the made-to-measure leggings class, if you've ever seen a flat leggings pattern, it looks like one big leg,
Right.
you get to do the symmetrical color blocking
Right.
on that, and your color blocks are going to meet in the back seam.
That's right.
And then it might be straight up and down on the side. It might also have that arc on the front too, depending on what you want. But for a color block like that follows the curve of the pattern, you need to redo your
Right.
pattern.
You're recutting your patterns.
You need to, Lonnie, lay out some tracing paper,
Lonnie,
okay?
tracing paper.
And do this color block, and we'll have an illustration
Hey,
of
Lonnie
this.
had one of the best color blocks ever that was posted.
She did.
She
She
had
did.
what a blue leg and a black leg or something. I
An
can't
example
remember.
of color blocking
Right.
that does not need tracing.
That's
Okay.
right. That's why Lonnie did it. She didn't
That's
have
right.
to trace anything.
I think that this color blocking technique of that arc over the bum
Mm-hmm.
and the front can be paired really nicely with the power mesh yoke as
Yes.
well. Okay. So when we talk about light and dark colors, if you think about the area underneath, like if you think about your crotch area being dark and then that arc that goes up over your butt being lighter, what that's going to do is highlight the curve of your body, and it's going to make the darker part of your body almost disappear. Okay?
Yes.
This might be something you wish to accomplish. Okay? So if you were to reverse that and make that, crotch, bum area the lighter color and then the arc darker, you're going to be giving a lot more attention to your butt and stuff.
Right.
So if you're wanting to enhance the badonkadonk, okay, you would use a light color on that bottom part and a dark color on top. If you wanted to make yourself, look more slender or something, or shapelier, you'll use a lighter color in that over arc. And there will be illustrations of this.
Or
in our
like
blog
you
post.
said, if it's more monochromatic, you don't even get that effect as much. You're
Mm-hmm.
moving the eye around the body with the subtle change in color, but it's not in making something appear larger or closer in the mirror or whatever.
And so here's our disclaimer. All right, it's not like I am going to look at someone and say, you have to color block like this.
Right.
But we're going to give the information about what this type of color blocking would do.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And then you get to make the decision on, I want to minimize my butt. I
need something to make my butt look like I have one.
I want to maximize this. I want to minimize
Right.
this. So anyway, don't feel like personally attacked, or if you're like, oh, I have a big
Well,
butt, I
no.
have to color block like this.
I
No,
think what we
obviously
will
not.
we will approach it in this is what this will do.
That's what I'm saying.
It
So-
not be negative or positive. It's what it does.
Right. So if somebody wonders, because I have seen people wish to color block. And like you said earlier, you're like, I think they did it wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
And wrong isn't the right word.
but they didn't get the effect that they were looking for.
Col-
And they told me that.
Well,
They said,
color blocking to me is similar to fitting.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'll look at somebody and I'll go, ooh, it's just off. And sometimes it's not like the color's in the wrong place, maybe, but the seam should have been in a different place.
Right.
They
Yes.
they lost the illusion of what they were trying to do or something.
With the color blocking, if we're talking about like accentuating or minimizing
Right.
your butt, you're going to have your perfect leggings pattern, and you've made your muslin or your first pair, and you're going to be able to make notes with safety pins.
That's right.
On your body, and you're going to be like, look, this is where the widest part of my hips is. Okay.
Right.
This is where this hits me. Okay, I'm going to put a safety pin there. This is where my smallest part is. This is where I want to delineate, between, and this is where I want the color blocking to happen. So your first pair that's maybe made out of like a solid color of fabric, it's important, and you're going to use it as like a design tool, right?
Yeah, absolutely, a map. So
I like map.
And the other thing that's really great is we will show you diagonals. And diagonals are great. You can like put them any place. Diagonals are fantastic.
So you, with color blocking, Mom, you personally, you want like some butt enhancement.
I'm going to figure out something to make my butt look bigger.
Yeah, she really has no
I
butt,
have no
guys.
butt.
I can just say
don't
that.
have a butt.
And
I can do all of the squats, everything I want, and all it does is just lift it a little bit. Then I want it, like, I need volume. Hey, I could put pads in the butt of
you
my...
could.
That's right.
That's
enhancement pads.
Another hack, right?
There you go.
So
butt cheeks in my leggings.
Mom literally has like just the flat ass, guys. Like she said
okay,
that.
mine is not as flat as some of the... I
Okay.
have people in my family that have flatter butts than me.
I know, but your butt is really flat because
There's just no tissue.
I was taking those pictures. I was like, you really don't have a butt.
Okay.
It's fine. Okay.
That's great.
But okay.
But
I do, like, I have a butt. I have shapely legs. I don't have a very tapered waist. So
see, I have a waist.
Yes, you
I don't have
a waist.
a butt. I have a waist.
Yeah, you actually, everybody in this family has a damn waist,
But
except
you,
for me.
that's right. That's
and
true.
my two sisters, who, like, I love them dearly. Actually, they're both in the group, but I don't think they care about like fashion quite as much as I do. And they have like much more. What do I want to say? Like socially, aesthetically pleasing body shapes than I do. Like it went like Hillary and Lindsay both have like boobs, waist, hips.
Okay, but Hillary has those tiny little ankles.
And I'm like, well, I've got body envy, like body shape envy, because even when I'm like super duper fit, I'm very straight up and down. Whatever, I'm fine with it. But anyway.
But you got some muscle mass too.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I get really turned on when I wear a garment that makes me look a little curvier.
Well, and color blocking definitely can give you the illusion of a waist or a butt or less hips or more hips.
I've been obsessed with color blocking from the time I was a
But
teenager.
it can be so done so wrong, I guess is what I'm saying. I have seen what people do is they truly block so they look square. And you don't want to look square. There's usually a curve to it. There has to be a movement to that line.
I agree. So the color blocking, we'll discuss that. We'll talk about like your widest part and your smallest part and what you want to do. But, I do want to say it's so hard. I think this has really come up in my mind a lot. Talking about how to make clothing that people like the way it looks on them without sounding really demeaning. I hope we don't come across like that.
But see, I hope we don't, because I have things I like the way they look on me.
Me too.
And then I see something somebody else has on and I'm like, oh, I really like that. And of course I try and wear that and I don't like the way I look in it, yet I like someone else in it.
Well,
I
just hope that our discussion and what we do in the group helps people to find.
I just want them to feel good.
Yeah, find their taste.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know. We haven't really gotten any like negative feedback about anything like that, but it is something I'm a little sensitive to. I'd hate to tell somebody that like what you choose to wear is, quote, wrong. It's not what we're saying.
No, and I think, I've sewn for enough people that I was always, do you like this?
Right.
Do you like the way this looks on your butt? Do you like the way this hangs, from your shoulders? That's what you say to people. And people do look at how their clothes. I mean, they will make changes, and they have their preferences.
And I think that people do appreciate that. But I never in the group do I give any kind of like unsolicited feedback like that. Unless somebody's like, hey, I don't like the way this color blocking
the
worked
most
out.
attractive person is the person who is confident in themselves.
Well, that's for sure too.
That's absolutely it.
No, sometimes
and I'm sorry, you can't not break that down.
I see
because the
sometimes
confident person is the most attractive person.
Yeah, I see sometimes things where I think like, oh, in my like conventional view of what I would have recommended for this person, maybe this wouldn't have worked. And then they're just like rocking it. And I'm like, well, don't freaking listen to me, you know? So, and then occasionally I will even wear something. Like I had this drop waist, really straight black silk top that like, I think I shouldn't have worked on me. I have a long torso. Drop waist stuff isn't really like my bag. And it had like a ruffle on the bottom, guys. I know this sounds atrocious. But it was something about the fabric that really worked. And I just loved it. And I had a great time in it. And so it worked. Anyway. Okay. So color blocking. Well,
so right up next to color blocking.
We haven't talked about the other type of color blocking.
Oh, well, I have no clue what you're talking about.
We talked about, we got really sidetracked. Okay, let me back up here. And we talked about color blocking where you have to retrace your pattern.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And now we have to talk about color blocking where you make your own fabric, which is, you go ahead.
Okay.
You're wanting to move on.
Well, actually, I'm trying to look up something on my computer here.
That's your phone.
Yeah, well, it's a computer too. But anyway, eventually I'll find it. Okay. Have you seen the movie Hidden Figures?
No.
Okay. So it's about African American women who were in the NASA program.
Right.
So not only were they women, but they were black and they were in the South.
In the 60s?
In the 60s, yes.
Is that right?
Yes,
60s?
early
Okay,
60s. You know, when Kennedy started the
space program and stuff. Okay.
You know, the race to the moon. Okay. I mean, it's really good. It's a good movie.
Right.
You should see it. They called her the computer because there were no... Okay, so where did that word come from?
Yes.
It came from the person who was doing all the mathematical calculations. And it was funny. They'd say, where's the computer? And I expected like an IBM or a PC, but it was the lady. They called the lady the computer. Okay? Well, we were talking about color blocking.
There's another type of color blocking where you make your own fabric. Talk about that, Mom.
Okay.
You got an example?
So basically you piece your fabric before you cut your pattern piece out.
Right.
Right? So I might just want a stripe or a diagonal or I don't know. I'm trying to think of a shape. But in my, legging, so I can piece my fabric together prior to laying out my pattern.
So let's pretend that you have a 36-inch waist to ankle measurement.
That would be mine, I think.
Okay.
No, I don't think mine's
Let's
that
just
long.
pretend.
Yeah,
okay, so it's a yard. But you only have like a 3/4 of a yard of fabric.
Right.
So instead of like going and tracing your pattern and blah, 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 you get another hunk of fabric and you just piece it in the middle of that too short piece of fabric, make it a long enough piece, lay your pattern out,
That's right.
cut it, ba-boom, right?
Bam.
Look, I just avoided some tracing for you, Lonnie.
And you've seen leggings like that where maybe it's just like down on the calf. They're a different color. It almost looks like you have a leg warmer on instead of, but it's the color.
So it could be done like just at the bottom, or
Right.
you could just like kind of get crazy and like slash up your
Right.
fabric.
Well, that's another thing
You
too,
know.
is you can haphazardly
yes.
pick 3 or 4 and sort of patchwork them together and then just cut your patterns and they don't have to be symmetrical.
That's right.
You can do some asymmetry.
And someone just posted on the podcast page that they did this for like the top of a dress, and she was like, "Oh, I was very careful about piecing all this fabric together, and I don't know exactly how she did it, but if you want some kind of like patchworky look or like a crazy look, just make your own fabric." You
Right.
just make your, slash that up, piece it back together, and then just treat it like one piece of fabric.
You can look at your pattern and go, ooh, I want the bottom, 16 inches of this to be this different color
Right.
and sort of, piece your fabric together. And sometimes that is really freeing and easy to do. It's
And
really nice.
I was talking about, I can't remember if it was this episode or the last one, but about that kind of monochromatic look of leggings. And I'm like, okay, if I wanted that, I would get like my blue-gray and my lighter blue and my medium blue, and I would just seam them all together into the appropriate length of fabric, and then I would cut them out because it would just be easier.
It'd be nice.
So that's another way to do it. Okay.
So
now,
that is the second.
So
way
there's
to do
color
that.
blocking, the two sort of types, and sky's the limit here, guys. I mean, there's no way we could possibly address every single type of color blocking. Color blocking can also make room for other add-ons, which we will discuss after the message break. Okay, Mom, are you clear on what a Patreon is?
I think so.
Do you know what we're offering for our Patreon contributors?
You said different levels. What's a level have to do with anything?
There are different levels. So
not like a level to level, like your lumber or your wall or whatever.
Nope.
Levels
at which you can contribute. So this is a way for our people who maybe don't buy sewing supplies from us, or who live in a place where it's hard to ship sewing supplies.
Yeah, because I know some of that shipping can get up there.
That's right. And we always think it's great for you to support your local sewing stores as well. And so if you just think that we're a rollicking good time, the Patreon is one way to support our media so we can keep making videos and keep Sam in bonbons and gilded pedicures. Okay?
Gilded pedicures.
So our first level is the $3 a month level. And like you said, some people pay more for coffee.
That's right.
Even though you don't drink coffee, so you don't even know.
No.
Yeah. For $3 a month, you're supporting Sew Here Media, and you're actually going to get a handwritten love note from you. You're
me?
Gonna okay. You'll get a handwritten love note after you pledge the $3 a month, and it'll be on a fun postcard
that you've designed,
that
or
I've
I've designed, or somebody designed.
That's right.
That works here and lives here.
And then the next level is an $8 a month level, and you'll get a postcard.
Two coffees.
2.66 coffees. You'll get the postcard, but then you'll also get a special Sew Porter keychain. Exclusive to our Sew Porters.
And that's the only way you can get it.
That's
to
right.
pledge this level.
We're not gonna the Patreon rewards are going to be exclusive to the Patreon donors, okay? And then our highest level, these all have cute names, like the straight stitch and the back stitch. And the highest level is the zigzag. Okay. So that's your favorite sewing
term.
Stitch.
It's my absolute favorite. It's the only one I ever use.
This is an $18 a month pledge. And you'll get a love note. And you'll get a keychain. And you will also get access to a super secret private Facebook group where you and I go live. Once a month.
And we do rollicking fun things.
Fun things. Yes. We'll have lots of fun. It's going to be a little bit more produced than my live broadcast in the self-sewn wardrobe. We're going to have a camera person here.
So
Sam.
we'll have like some planned content.
Yes, we'll have some planned content. We'll talk to you all. We'll answer questions. And since we'll have a camera person here, what that means is we can zoom in. We can
respond to your questions in a better way.
And we can zoom in on sewing machines
on
if
what
we're demoing
doing.
the techniques, and we can do that live too.
Real camera shots, yeah.
Yeah, so we introduced the Patreon a little bit ago, and there are lots of people who contributed, so thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Absolutely. And actually, the most popular level has been the zigzag.
All right.
But any amount really helps us to support the hosting fees, the equipment upkeep, pay our staff, and ourselves, and make more fun sewing media for you.
Wait a minute. You said you acted like I got paid.
Yeah. If enough people pledge to the Patreon,
I could get paid
we can
too.
start paying you. Okay. So once again, go to sewhere.com/Patreon. That's Patreon, like you're a patron, but in the future or something.
I see.
And you can see the different levels there, and you will get access to that Facebook group. What happens here is your card is charged at the first of the month, and then you'll get access, or you'll receive a notification that your reward has shipped. Okay,
I see.
And you can also choose to contribute any amount of your choice. So if you're like, all I got right now is $1 to throw at these ladies, you can do that too.
Okay.
All right, sohere.com/Patreon. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons. Sewing out loud. And we're back.
And we're going to talk about mesh, because mesh kind of comes into the color blocking scene. Oh my gosh, mesh is wonderful.
The mesh we sell is really wonderful.
It's really good. And I did read an article about mesh in sports clothing, right? In workout wear. I actually read this funky little article, and the reason it is so popular is people can show their muscle definition off with it. I had no idea. I thought it was just I didn't know that was, but I mean, I'm not sure that's what it's about for everyone, because we all don't have perfect muscle. But the other thing too is people can also let their tattoos show, apparently.
Yeah.
So it didn't occur to me that that's why it was there.
The mesh really does do that.
Right.
Yes, that's very
right.
true.
But
it
didn't like occur to me that purposefully someone might buy mesh down the side of their legging, or want mesh down the side to show the tattoo that goes down the side of their leg. But apparently it is true.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about that either.
Well, in fact, there's all mesh shirts now, that you wear over your sports bra or whatever,
Well, people pay a lot for those tattoos.
Well, that's true.
And they want to show
they're
them
part
off.
of their fashion.
That's right.
They're part of expression, right?
Actually, a lot of women have those tattoos that are up around their collarbone.
Right.
And they choose certain necklines.
That's right.
And I'm always like, that is really pretty.
Yeah.
It's not something I can do, but
I don't know, but I could magic marker myself for a weekend.
But it is when you say that,
Right.
Their fashion, and a lot of people are like, oh, I need this drop back.
Right. I want my back to show because I have this tattoo.
Tattoos.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, or a lot of times you don't want it cut off. Like if it's on
Yes.
your arm, you don't want just part of your tattoo hanging out. You'd like to see it all
The
somehow.
whole thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. You don't want to mess up what you so well planned.
So you can put mesh insets into your leggings in so many different places. They can also allow for ventilation, right?
Yes, they can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can be a pocket.
Yes.
Mesh pockets, whether they're on the interior or the exterior, they can be a pocket. So mesh is fantastic.
Mesh, and we sell the Power Shaper net that we really love to use for these applications.
Because it has a similar stretch to most of your lycra, nylon type. Well, even the cotton, I guess. You have to be careful with mesh. There's mesh that's not got the stretch and recovery.
Yeah, you need to get stretchy mesh for these types of applications.
Right.
But I also think, just to point out, if you listen to the first episode, we talk about the Power Mesh or Power Net waistband. It's really used as a construction
element
and an aesthetic element.
Right.
It's
even though it doesn't,
stuff.
it's not showing. You don't see it from the outside. Certainly it gives you a different look because it's there.
It can be in that waistband, giving you that nice smoothing.
Get off
action.
of waistbands. We already talked about waistbands.
I know, but it can be there. It can. I'm saying that because it's unseen. Okay,
right.
It can be there, giving it that structure, and then talk to me about getting off topic, Mom. Okay, and then it can also be used.
I've got a better off topics than that.
And then it can be used as an inset, and then also we're going to talk about pocket bags and pocket linings,
right?
And how it can be used for that. So, what were you going to say next?
Well, so mesh. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember this. I think you asked me this question. I think it was your high school choir teacher said, "How do they get Elphaba?" Right? Is that how you say her name?
Mm-hmm.
How do they get her green? And he's like, all that green makeup. And I said, it's not all green makeup. She had on green mesh up to her neck.
Right.
And down, to her hands and over her hands. And then just the green face. And they had to put, green makeup on her hands. But that's what made her look green.
Right.
So you can too look green if you
too.
like it. Right.
Yeah.
But
now we only sell like a black and like a cappuccino. We do not have green Power Shaper net.
But it dyes well. We know
well,
that
that's
because
true.
I've dyed it.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is it does give an illusion.
Okay, so mesh insets, I think, kind of go along with color blocking.
It's very similar process.
And then let's go on, except maybe you don't want like the color blocking I described, like up over your butt with mesh, or maybe you do. So then let's get into pockets a little bit, because let's talk about the pocket that I'm really excited about. What do you want to call it?
The perfect cell phone pocket? Is that the one you're talking about? It is the perfect cell phone pocket.
Mom didn't know what I was talking about.
Because she cannot.
So, moving on. We'll stop bickering here for a second.
God, I hope we explained it better to you.
Well, that's where the editing process comes in. And I was trying to be very simple. It's like, I just need this clarified. And Mom's like, well, I
said, why do I have to clarify it now? We'll clarify it when we do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the cell phone pocket, the way I want to put it in my leggings is sort of a combination of color blocking and pocket construction. And then
it is blocking.
You are like, oh, let's make it out of mesh. And that's an option too. Right. So you can make it out of your fabric or your mesh. Either way, I want this to be a pocket that where my cell phone sits like laterally against my thigh. It does
vertically
not have a zipper in it. They are overlapping, like flaps of fabric.
It's sort of like a little puzzle of fabric.
Yes. And I kind of like that there's no zipper.
Right.
For this particular application, but it could be combined with color blocking or not, or with a mesh inset panel or not.
Right.
And then the pocket could be mesh
or not.
Or not, depending on what you want it to be.
Well, and while we're here on cell phones, okay, I do not believe in a cell phone pocket where the cell phone is worn on the inside of the legging.
Okay.
Generally, a cell phone pocket needs to be applied to the outside of the legging. Otherwise, you just have a lump in there.
So this pocket is something that kind of like, it's two pieces of overlapping fabric that lay on top of the legging. Mom has a pocket, which she finally explained to me.
Oh my gosh.
This welt pocket that actually has a pocket bag on the inside.
Right.
And this was a point at which I was like a little worried. I was like, okay, we got to tell people on a pair of leggings, you can't have the size pocket bag.
Yeah, you're not carrying like your gum and your change and your keys and your credit card and what else? I don't know.
I'm just saying, it's not a pocket bag from a pair of jeans.
Right.
Everybody, okay?
Right.
Sometimes we get people who really want to push this kind of stuff like to some limits where if you put all that weight on a pair of leggings, it's not going to work.
Well, it's going to look dumb. You're going to have like all this junk hanging on your butt or your leg or whatever.
You need to make a pair of pants.
Right. You need pants for that.
Yes.
Right.
So Mom's got this welt pocket, and it does have a zipper. And we're thinking invisible zipper.
That's what generally, because it's smaller, it's coiled, it's soft. And I have to tell you, I'm not that fond of I don't wear zippers in my leggings because I'm on silks.
Yeah.
And I'm not that fond of zippers. I do have one or two pair that sometimes I wear when we paddleboard. And when I mean paddleboard, I mean like going out into
like a river,
a lake in a river, and I need to pocket a key of some sort. And if someone throws me off of my paddleboard in, the throes of this river, I will not lose my key.
The rapids.
Right. Now, I do have a key in my personal flotation device, but I don't always wear that. You don't have to wear it in Missouri. You only have to have it on your board. So it would stay, I guess, in that.
Okay, so my pocket, the reason the pocket that I discussed, the reason I wanted to say like where it was is because Mom's pocket that she's talking about, it can be put almost anywhere.
And it can be horizontal, it can be vertical. it can be a variety of sizes. Again, we just don't take it too big. And making it out of mesh is a very good idea because it, again, eliminates the bulk.
Yeah, big. This is where the mesh can be used as a construction element on the inside of the legging.
Because you actually have this pocket of fabric inside your legging.
Right. And it's not going to be too big.
No.
You know, so eventually someone's going to be like, I want to make like a 20-inch zippered pocket on my leggings. We're like, no.
You need to wear a purse.
You know, exactly. Yeah. Someone's going to try to push the limits. And you know what? We are very much, I feel like we've got like two things I just want to say to everybody all the time. First of all, that's not what I told you to do. And second of all, go ahead and try it. Like, I am totally okay with that because I do
that.
But
don't yell at me when you do it and it doesn't work.
Off. So three things.
Don't say, this doesn't work, and I'll say, well, that's right, it doesn't.
So 3 things. That's not what I told you to do. Go ahead and do it. And then don't get pissed off at me when it doesn't work.
That's right.
Now, when it does work, I'm so
happy.
Let me know. I'm
right.
so happy for you. Go for it. But like, we've got reasons, you know.
Right.
So that was where I was sort of like, we can't leave it like too open-ended for people, but we don't want to limit people either.
Well, so you'll be given guidelines. And
That's
then
right.
And then basically the third type pocket is what we call the key pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And that is put in that yoke type waistband.
Yes.
That you so it goes like right in the top of the waistband, and it's not very big at all. What is it, like 2x3 or something, or 2x2? I don't know.
Itty bitty.
2x3 I think is or like 1.5x3 I think is what it turns out to be.
Yeah. You're better at that stuff than I am. Okay, and then we have a couple, the last 2 we're going to talk about.
I actually kind of have 3, but
Last 3 we're going to talk about. Latticing, go ahead.
yeah, and latticing, and I think everybody has seen this, is the side of the legging, or it'll be and usually this is down lower towards the hem. It'll be like on the side of the legging. Sometimes it's on the back of the calf, and it's literally what it says. It's like it looks like ladder work or lattice work. Sometimes it's woven, sometimes it's just straight across like a ladder, or more woven like lattice. And you'll see it's just strips, and you might think it's just strips of lycra, but there is a technique.
Yeah, so it's almost sort of like color blocking ish, in that like you choose this area to lattice,
but it's usually not between 2 seams to speak of.
Yes, and then we're going to talk to you about treating the fabric and the straps properly.
Right.
So that they don't like overstretch, so that they keep their shape. So
right.
Blah, blah, blah.
And you'll see those on really expensive leggings. And it's really not hard to do.
Okay, and then we have 2 types of stirrups?
Well, no. There are more than one kind of stirrup.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to teach you my stirrup.
Okay.
The reason I'm going to teach you my stirrup is because you don't have to wear it. You can take it off of your instep and put it up on your leg, and it doesn't look funny.
Okay.
So I'm going to teach that stirrup only.
Okay.
And it's very easy. It's almost. I mean, it's just very easy.
I don't wear stirrups a lot.
Well, again, the things I do require my feet. I like to feel what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people in yoga wear stirrups. I was surprised.
I would wear, where I would wear stirrups is what I'm thinking about. That's not a workout application because, of course, that could be useful. But if you're going to wear your leggings under a pair of boots.
Absolutely.
And you want them to stay down.
And actually, that's what I have done is I have a couple that I've made stirrups on, and when I wear them in the winter, because I'll just wear boots to the gym because I take a lot of things that don't require shoes.
Yeah.
And so, I'll go to the gym in my Uggs, but I've got that stirrup on. And then when I get in class, I just pop it up on my leg, and it doesn't look, it's like inconspicuous. You can't tell that there is a stirrup on it.
Yeah.
So that's the one I want to teach.
Awesome. What's you were like a third one?
Well,
I can't read upside down.
This is just the last one, and you're gonna know what it is as soon as
now
I
see
say it. Right. It's slashing.
Slashing.
And a friend that I do aerial with comes in, and she has these slash tights on, and somebody was like, "Oh, those are really cool." And one reason they're cool is they show off a tattoo she has that's very pretty and colorful. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I thought, "Oh, I wonder what she paid for those." I mean, it was my first thought. Okay. And she says, these cost me an arm and a leg, and I got them cheap. And I said, so what's an arm and a leg to you? And she paid $95 for these. And she said she saw them for as much as $200.
Yeah.
And this is not a hard trick, you guys. But we'll talk about it and talk how it needs to be done. There is a specific way to do it.
Well, awesome. I think that covers all the hacks that we're planning on covering in our month of making leggings or whatever of making
We
leggings.
don't think there's a part 3 leggings, but we'll let you know if there is.
I'm already like a little exhausted.
I know.
About leggings. We haven't even done them yet. So like done all these.
Get out your blogging brain.
Yep. Okay. And we promise to edit them, and it'll all make sense.
Kind of. Maybe. Sort of.
So if you want to check this out in the Facebook group.
And there'll be a lot of pictures, so it will help.
And
a lot of photos.
When I publish a new blog post, when I'm being really on top of things, which I try to be, I will send it out in our newsletter, which I call our love note. Okay, so it's our weekly love note that we send out. So if you want to sign up for that so you can stay up to date on all this jazz, you can go to sohere.com/love note and sign up. But I know a lot of you are already signed up. I like to send them to you, and then I miss weeks sometimes, and then people are like, where's my love note? And I'm like, oh, yay,
yeah.
people like them, so try to make it full of relevant sewing information. Sometimes share with you links with other applicable sewing information. Like you talked about hidden figures, and one of the links that I shared a few weeks ago was how the seamstresses from Playtex who made girdles were responsible for the first space suits.
Yes.
And that it was a really neat video that kind of like, talked about this. And so anyway.
And it was like, we have to have this sewn into the suit. Oh, they'd make it, and then it was like, well, no, now we need this sewn into the suit. Right.
I think that I haven't rewatched the video. It was a few weeks ago, but I feel like what I remembered was that they were like, oh, we need like all this really specific stuff. And these people are like, we make girdles.
We do that
can
already.
Do that.
Well, okay. Again, because it was in the 60s, you've got a man telling a woman maybe she can do this.
Right.
Right. And the woman's like had it figured out forever.
That's fine. I know how to put people in space, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoy the media that we produce and are having fun in the Made to Measure Leggings class. And you can always get a hold of me at Mallory@sohere.com, or you can follow us on Instagram. We are Zede Sewing Studio.
So long and so happy.
Thanks for listening to Sewing Out Loud. For even more expert sewing advice, visit sohere.com.